Welcome to the Proactive Women Podcast. Our host of the Proactive Women's Podcast is Joyce Palmer, who's the managing partner and CEO of JP Financial Group, LLC. I'm your co-host, Fran Marie, and as we grow our audience, we'd love for you to like, subscribe, and share the podcast. Joyce Palmer has helped more than 300 clients retire with confidence. And this past weekend, JP Financial Group held their Client Appreciation Festival, and we had a ball. From food trucks to popcorn stations, we played basketball, we jumped double dutch, we played bingo, we danced, and we made new friends. So, hey, Joyce Palmer, are you still hyped from this weekend?
I am unbelievable hyped and totally exhausted.
How many steps?
A fantastic time. We did. It was awesome. We've come to love this event. It's our annual Thanksgiving event where it's my favorite time of the year. I get an opportunity to share what I'm thankful for. And of course, one of the main things I'm thankful for is all of our beautiful clients and their friends and their family. So I think we tallied up over 200 people made it out. We showcase homegrown sweet potatoes. So I have to give a shout out to a local African-American farmer. He's a 4th generation farmer. So he gives us sweet potatoes that we give our clients. And these sweet potatoes are the sweetest sweet potatoes on this side of the country. So that's the show light of the event. And as you mentioned, we had dancing, candy apples, funnel cakes, double dutch, cupcakes, basketball shoots, so prizes. So everybody won something. It was fantastic.
And we had fried fish.
Oh, fish and shrimp. Yeah. Shout out to a Pinch of Soul, our longtime friend, food truck. So yeah, we really. We were exhausted. I think we started at 5 a.m, and so this body was like broke down by the end of the day.
Wait a minute, 18,000 steps. Is that what you did?
I did. That's right. I broke a record. I had 18,585 steps on Saturday.
Wow. So that means you can eat all the funnel cakes you want?
Yeah. And could you believe I didn't even get a funnel cake? I didn't even have time to get a funnel cake. But I heard they were delicious. Everything was great. I saw one kid literally licking his little plate. But I found out it was his 4th funnel cake.
Oh, did they put him down?
That's right. That's it.
Well, speaking of sweets, we have a guest today, a woman who carries weight, warmth, and wisdom in Charlotte, North Carolina, and beyond. This segment of the Proactive Women Podcast is pretty much a love story between our guest, Ramona Holloway, and her mom, Louise Wheezy Glover. So Ramona is widely known for 2 decades, I'll just say almost 3. When she was on the radio with Matt Ramona's show, she charmed us, the girl. She charmed us. Even I was working for the competitor and we listened. But that's not all, because Ramona is now the community relations and civic engagement director of the Museum in Charlotte. We have to say hey to that. She's also got her own podcast on Apple Podcasts. It's Hope with Ramona Holloway. So you have to subscribe. You don't have to, but it would be nice because that woman can talk. You can find her podcast on Apple Podcasts. She dives into life-changing stories. So we love this, Joyce. We love this guest we're having. So without further ado, hello.
Hello. Thank you so much for that introduction. Thank you for making me hungry. I mean, from funnel cakes to fish. You had me at sweet potatoes with a black tarver.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Well, next year, you'll have to be there, Miss Ramona.
Absolutely. Please.
Girl, because we're going to clown too. You know that. You dance a lot. So didn't you dance?
Yeah.
Well, we got to get into. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was a tap dancer growing up, and I still absolutely love to dance. So when we have Mint to Move cultural dance night at the Mint, I'm there. When the Park Church has their line dancing, I'm there. If you tell me there's going to be boots on the ground or my opportunity to learn some new dances, I am there. And that's part of my brain health and my emotional health thing.
I love it. I love it. I love dancing too. So yeah, we had boots on the ground. I'll DJ SGL Productions, the best DJ also, all the way from New York, now in Charlotte. He does a fantastic job every time. So yeah, we love dancing. Love dancing.
I do too. And, that was one of the things that really connected my mom and me in the caregiving stage of our relationship. And I would turn on her favorite old tunes, her favorite Motown tunes, and, we would dance together or she would just dance. The physical therapist came to the house. They knew that if, I put on some Little Richard, that they were going to get her to get to moving. And now we're getting all this research telling us that the best thing that we can do to help our aging brains is to move. So, it just makes sense that this part of the love story has to keep going.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Can I just start with saying, first of all, Ramona, I am just totally honored to have you on our show. And I should have brought my tissue box out because I
was just thinking, please don't let her say anything that's going to get my eyelashes messed up.
But I followed you. And your mom. I followed that story and adored her. And I have a place in my heart for what you do, not only from a personal standpoint, a grandfather who suffered with dementia, a grandmother who lived to 104 and stayed in her right mind, a mother who passed at 89 that was showing some signs, and just recently, my 98-year-old aunt who passed with Alzheimer's. So there's a personal spot there. And for those loved ones that have suffered with that illness, and to hear your story and to learn from you is amazing. And I just cannot wait for my clients to hear and my listeners to hear. So I'm already putting it out there. This will be a part 1 of a series.
Okay, good.
So we're not going to cover it all today. We're just going to get started.
When you say you're honored to have me, I'm honored to be in this space because the financial space is where a lot of education has to happen as it relates to the caregiver, taking care of oneself.
Right.
And also planning to transition assets.
Yeah.
Before, during, and after. That is such a huge piece of the puzzle. But before you can even get there, before I could even get there, I had to get to a place of acceptance with the disease. And then I had to learn about the disease so that I could figure out how to manage me while managing the rest of it. And that included my life.
Yeah. No, like I said, I listened and wanted you to speak to that first stage, like you say, the recognition stage. And I have clients now that are going through it. And what's amazing, I have clients on both ends of the spectrum, clients that are the caregivers, the children that are caring for their parents. And then I have clients where their parent is my client. So I see them made that transition right before my eyes. They come in and they're totally on top of their finances, totally on top of everything. And the next day or the next moment, they're not. And they don't remember and they don't know. And so that's huge to see both sides, the caregivers and the person that's being cared for.
I thank you for this, because by the time I recognized that there was a problem, even though I saw the mountain of papers when I was going back and forth to Columbus to take care of her after her first spine surgery, I still had no idea that she was running up a 5-figure American Express bill. And I still have absolutely no idea what happened to her retirement. Like, it was just, it disappeared. I have no idea where it went, who it went to, what it bought, what it didn't. I'm clueless. But I also made some moves about, she didn't want to die with debt. So I paid off that 5-figure American Express account. And in hindsight, wouldn't have done it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I didn't come from a family where we talked about our finances.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And I also did not have the kind of mother who was like, I think you're right, Ramona. I'm going to start listening to you.
Right.
Like, I've never found Medea movies funny because I lived it.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
It's not funny when you're like, yeah, she's at that stage. Well, she will lay holy hands on somebody and tell anyone, anywhere, what she thinks about what they're doing.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So, around the finances, there has to be someone who, that person who's stepping in, the caregiver, the person who, either you're the one who feels like the brain isn't what it used to be, or just want to make this easier for my family just in case. Who's that person you trust that you can talk about it?
Mm-hmm.
Who is that person? Is it a professional? Is it a family member? Is it a friend? Who is that person who you can be 100% honest about what you have and what you have access to and how to access it?
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
Because that tug of war over money, with me just trying to even get on her accounts, was hard.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a child. She lived with me. I paid all of her bills.
Mm-hmm.
That's not how she liked to do business.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. That's the and I have an only child too, so that's another thing I connected with. I have one child, and we tease her. I tease her often, because her dad passed a couple of years back, which I also have to give a shout out because her dad was a big fan of yours as well. You might remember Jeff Palmer. He was a DJ.
Yeah.
And so music was his thing. And so he followed you and your mom with the dancing and the music and the whole thing. But when she lost her dad, that was a big loss. And so now it's just me and her. And we talk about what it looks like. What's the plan? How will this transition? And that's the conversation that families have to have early on. Because sometimes
here's the frustrating part, is that for us, because of our power dynamic, it was difficult to have those conversations. Mm-hmm. And then in the early stages of her dementia, I didn't know if it was dementia or stubborn. So you guys already have this open line of communication. What then happens, because, my mom and I became really good friends in my 20s and in my 30s. Mm-hmm. And then in my 40s, these weird things started happening. And the things that she was saying and doing stopped making sense. Mm-hmm. They stopped being in my best interest. They stopped sounding like something she would say and looking like things that she would do. They were hurtful. They were weird. They were disrespectful. So it works when dementia comes to play. there's a time when the person's like, oh, I'm confused.
Mm-hmm.
And then there are also those times when they're lucid and times when they don't believe you.
Mm-hmm.
And their brain is telling them something different. It's stuck somewhere that you can't justify. They call it jade. Whatever you're telling them, you're not going to be able to justify it. You can't argue about it. You can't defend it. You're not going to be able to explain it because their brain is stuck in a reality that you can either respect and go, how's that over there? Or you can keep going like this. Remember you said, well, didn't I, all I'm asking you to do is, and after a while that either you accept the fact that, okay, I got to do things differently with mom, or you keep struggling.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're struggling and it's not changing for the better, and if dementia is there, it's not going to change for the better, then you got to come over here. How do I approach it? Let me get some help. Let me talk to someone who has more experience at the Alzheimer's Association, at Memory and Movement Charlotte. Let me tap into some resources. Work with Ramona Holloway, part 1 and 2 about caregivers. I mean, there are so many places like Good Shepherd Church where you can go for support groups and programs. But for me, getting plugged in with people who understood me and my issues, and being people who understood her and her issues, essential. Essential to my well-being. And when I was okay, our household was okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it was something I heard you share on that podcast, which I definitely want to make sure we put that in our notes again. Everybody needs to go out and listen to that. It was about finding your people, like you say, finding your people early, and then how to make that transition for each stage where it starts with, and I recall my grandfather, I was really, really young, so I didn't have to intimately involve, but I saw my brothers, and he was, in the first stage, it seemed like it was just a loss of memory, just confusion. But as he got in the later stages, he got really ornery. And my brothers, 2 big, tall guys, and my grandmother, this short, really small, petite lady. And I remember one time he's like, "You men better get away from my wife. Y'all trying to take my wife in my house." And it took 2 men, 2 strong, tall men, to hold my grandfather down, because he was adamant that they were there to take his wife. And what he did remember was that was his wife. And it seemed like nothing else kind of resonated with him. But I just remember as a kid watching that. And so I think you talk a lot about those transitions where they go in and out of knowing who you are and understanding and reasoning. So
yeah, and you talk about getting ornery. Some people say, I will never, ever, 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 ever put my mama, daddy, sister, brother, friend in a facility.
Right.
And then there are people like me who say, I'll do everything I can to keep them at home until it means that I can no longer have a healthy home environment.
Right.
And when you get to ornery with some people, that takes it to another level because violence. So when I went from doing afternoon radio, I was promoted to a morning show, and I needed mom to go to daycare, and I needed to have someone come to my house at 4 a.m. so that I could get dressed. She lived with me at the time, so if she heard me up, then she was going to get up, and then she needed supervision. So the home health care worker was supposed to arrive at 4 a.m., get her dressed, take her to daycare at 7 a.m. Only mom decided she didn't want to go. my home health aide one of them went to nursing class after taking Wheezy. The other one had to go take care of her 90-year-old sister. They couldn't put up with Wheezy shenanigans. And she laid unholy hands on both of those women. And she fought one of them so badly that she was limping later that day. Like, that because she was the aggressor. Like, you would really have to do something bad to try to kick someone's butt and you get hurt.
Yep.
But that's dementia. And then in the meantime, is being caught on my neighbor's ring cam. So she's texting me, oh my God, I see your aide pushing your mom into the car. Do you want me to post it? And I'm like, no, please, no. And then when I get home, I see that my caregiver is also upset because she talked to the previous person and saw that her leg was horribly bruised because mom had used her foot to bang the car door against her hip while she was just trying to get her in the car.
In the car. Yeah.
In the car. Yeah. And so there are so many factors that go into caring for someone with dementia in your own home that we have to address, especially as Black and brown people, because Black and brown people are far more likely to make those pledges that say home no matter what.
What? Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep.
And we have to, as a family of Black and brown people, be willing to talk about it and talk about the challenges we face.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I think that's where I love the fact that on your podcast, and I'm going to keep mentioning that podcast because I'm going to make sure that I tune into part 3. You talk about, okay, now I've come to the realization this is dementia. It's real. And I now have to become the adult and she's the child. And I remember my grandmother, like I said, 104 in her right mind, which was amazing. She used to say, well, they say when you get my age, 100, you become the child. So y'all can just treat me like a kid. And she would say, I just want to have my Coca-Cola because that's what she drank. And, play puzzles and games. She says, and y'all can take care of everything else because I am the child. Now that's what they told me at my age. So, but she embraced it. But I know when you're dealing with dementia, you do have to make that switch where you do become the adult. Right. And that's kind of tricky because this is a person who told you what to do all your life. And now all of a sudden you're telling them what to do.
Right. We are dealing with a Medea character. Every old person who Medea plays, Tyler Perry plays in a comedy, that is who we're dealing with. We're dealing with Uncle Joe. We are dealing with Medea. And if I'm expecting them to say, you're making some really good decisions that go against what I want. Thank you. I appreciate that. If I'm still at the point of reminding them that I'm grown, if I'm still at the point of reminding them of what I'm paying for and who am I trying to prove it to?
Right. Not them.
The only thing I'm trying to do is what the Bible says, honor my mother by preserving her dignity, which means I don't have to tell her what I'm doing. I just need to be sure in my decisions. And sometimes those decisions mean she has to simmer. And I grew up as a child and you didn't want mama simmering. That was bad.
Yeah.
That mama needs to be happy. Mama needs quiet. Mama needs to be left alone. I mean, now as the grown up, I have to be okay with, let's talk about that later. Or I'm working on that. I'll get to it tomorrow. Or no, how about we do this instead? Because, and I have to be okay with that and okay if she doesn't like it. Yeah. I mean, she was ticked off at me one day because she wanted to wear a particular sweater. She was very, very, very particular about her hair and her outfit. And and that was also an early sign that something was going wrong because I caught her outside in her bonnet. And it was like,
that's right, odd.
but, she had an accident and there was poop on her sweater. Didn't want her to wear the sweater after that. And she wanted to wear the sweater. And I told her to lift her arms up and I snatched the sweater off of her. She had to simmer for a good 15 minutes until I offered a snack because dementia, she just had to be a little bit mad. She had to have an attitude for a little while. And that, that was a dynamic that was only like, what the hell do they do?
Yeah.
Who doesn't do what they're told to do?
Mm-hmm.
What does honoring look like now? It looks like keeping her safe.
Yeah.
When she's a danger to her or me.
Mm-hmm.
And because when it's a danger to me, it's also a danger to her.
Right.
It means no guns.
It
means no keys.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It means
yeah,
encouraging baths when a bath is not what that person really wants
to do. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. That's interesting. No driving. I remember. I remember you talking. And again, I can use real life scenarios because I have clients that unfortunately they're not able to drive anymore.
Yeah.
And that's as a result of driving around, getting lost. I have a situation where they drove around for hours to get home. And that's when their family realized that it was to that severity level where they needed to take the keys. And that was a process. That was a project. It took all of the children collectively figuring out how to take the car keys because they were endangering themselves and others. And so that all of it is a process. And like I said, I think what is so helpful is to be able to talk through these scenarios with someone who can give you real live examples of what to expect and how you dealt with it. And then the medical side of it, the medical side of it. That's the other thing I love about your series is you have a doctor on there and he's actually giving us medical research, proven research that shows you why and how dementia acts out. So now you can put some rationalization behind it because what I find with Alzheimer's, unlike other illness, if a person has a stroke or a heart attack and they're physically hurt and you can see that illness, then there's sympathy. But with Alzheimer's, you don't see it. The person can look great. They can have a presence about them. They can have a conversation. So they don't look sick. So there's not that sympathy or, whatever that you get when a person looks sick. And so it can trick you to think, well, maybe they're just faking it. They're not really sick. So
because they can showboat.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, they can showboat. My mom did a major showboat in front of a nurse who had come to evaluate her for services.
Oh, yeah.
And so the nurse said, well, she was trying to see if mom could manage her own toileting still. And so, they went to the bathroom. And the nurse says, do you remember how you would use the restroom? And then she turned to this nurse and said, I'll show you how she does it. Okay, let's stand in front of the toilet. Let's pull down our pants. She totally modeled my whole scenario that I would do with her when we got into the restroom. And I'm like, they're going to think that not only is she okay, but she's then okay. She can do a whole monologue of me.
Right. The other one's crazy.
While I'm trying to get services. And luckily, this person could understand what was going on because also mom insisted on speaking Spanish to this person because She was Filipino. Mom thought that she was Spanish speaking, and my mom used to be a Spanish teacher. And you cannot unracist or make a person with dementia be okay with any other race doing any other thing than what they believe they should be doing in that moment. And it can be embarrassing. But once again, to have a professional who understands, not someone who might get offended. And on the podcast, for me, I get to tell my story, but you also get to hear the how and the why. And for me, that's important, that the engagement of the two, because I can't tell you how many times people would tell me, you know what book you need to read? And I'd be like, I'm trying to do a whole job over here while trying to keep this woman alive. And every hour I'm away from her, she's like plotting on, it feels like, how to make it harder for me to take care of her. Like, that's what dementia seems to do. And you're telling me I need to sit down with a book? I got like 40 emails here to deal with before I can get to the research that I need to do I'm trying to pay bills, and can you give me something that's easier to digest? And can you also emphasize the importance of self-care and what real self-care is for a caregiver, and what it looks like at every stage of caregiving, because we don't even talk about the stages of caregiving.
Right. That's a whole nother, that's why I say we're definitely going to do this. Like, I can't wait. We're going to do another episode, but to my caregivers and the clients that I have out there, and loved ones that are caregivers, first of all, bless you. You are amazing. You should be honored, because it is a major act. And I just want you to share with my clients that are caregivers, because I'm reaching out to them right now, the self-care, finding your person, how to use people that want to help, because I found that one was very interesting, because people say all the time, oh, what can I do to help? And I think our, women toughness and we're superwomen, we can do it all. Oh, I'm good. It's okay. Thanks anyway. And we're easy to say that versus, oh God, yes, you can help. Here's one thing, two things, three things. But speak to that, because you did share how you were able to make good use of people that want to help.
Yeah. And I was one of those people when Destiny's Child said, the women who's independent, throw your hands up. Like, I'm independent. No.
Right.
Connection is everything, because caregiving can be isolating and overwhelming. And those connections, for example, helped me to find the woman who would get Wheezy off the road. It was a connection to staying connected with a woman I used to work with at a WCNC in Charlotte today. She was driving for Uber and posting about it. And I hired her as my assistant because I could not have a Wheezy keeper. Like, that would not have gone over well in my household. Tried it once. She helped that person find another job. So this person worked for me as my assistant, and my assistant had responsibilities to drive mom to the places she liked to go and needed to go. And, she took her to the hair salon, took her to Bilo, to the post office, all the little places that she liked to go, because one of the things that I understood was that taking mom's keys away meant taking away her ability to get to the places that she wanted to go to stay connected.
Right.
So I couldn't do it. And what I found over the years of the caregiving, as our needs grew, we would bring someone into the fold, and then our needs would outgrow that person, but that person would be about ready to grow too. And that's how God kind of did things. But staying connected through church, through my clubs, through coworkers who had been close, like people who I knew I could talk to without judgment.
Right.
Or advice. If they hadn't been in this situation. But I was also so blessed. Practically every place I've ever volunteered, I've connected with someone who was going through or would go through. So I had people ahead of me guiding me. And that is exactly what I feel like I'm called to do now with the people who are behind us. Because a facility is only as good as who works there right now. Any given agency you might use is only good as the person who they send to your house today. And staying connected about this people and the services, what we can get, which, different resources in the community like Joy Cafe and the Soul Steppers at Park Church. I mean, some dementia-friendly places where caregivers can get a break. Those kind of connections, you don't really find them on Facebook. You find them by seeking them out.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, this is good. I could go all day. That's why I say we're just going to have to come up with a strategy here. Here I'm being strategic, right? And how we build out a series. And I'm really passionate about long-term care. I know it is not if, it's when. Statistics tell us that 70% of those who make past 65 will incur a long-term care event. The average long-term care event may be 3 to 5 years. We know with dementia, it can be a lot longer. Financially, the costs, I've seen $1 million portfolios break down because there was not enough financial planning done to address long-term care. So I co-authored a book, Don't Go Broke in a Nursing Home. And during that time when we were working on that, stats were just alarming, especially disproportionately for us as women, and even more for African American women. So there is a need for this information to be transferred. And sometimes coming from me, because I'm a financial person, it's not received as well as coming from someone who's saying, I was in that space. And that's what I want for my clients. I want them to get both perspectives. I want them to get me telling them, yes, financially, this is how we plan. These are the things we put in place, and estate planning and wills and trusts and power attorneys. But I also want them to feel and learn from someone that was in that space. Because yes, it is financial, but it's also emotional. And so that's why
Say that again, please. Say that again.
I just want this information out there so badly. And I think, long-term care month is November that we're in, but I'm excited and looking forward to bringing this as a series to the podcast. And Ramona, you've got to come back. You got to give us more. We want more.
Okay. It's also, this is also National Family Caregivers Month.
Awesome.
So I love the intersection. I would absolutely be thrilled to come back and talk with you some more, and to see if we can help some families get to a better place going forward. Because once that train starts rolling and you're in the middle of it, So I will say that, and to close, that Mom could barely remember how to write her initials when we got the final paperwork done. If I had waited another month, but so don't be like me there, but be like me in seeking those places of connection where you can learn and also share. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Yeah. Thank you.
We want to thank our guest, Ramona Holloway, who is now the Community Relations and Civic Engagement Director at the Mint Museum in Charlotte, North Carolina. Now, you got to listen to her podcast, Hope with Ramona Holloway. Just go to RamonaHolloway.com, right? And subscribe, like, do all the. And then when you come back, you got to tell us the diaper story. Those diapers got you out
Oh
of
my
the mud.
God.
The diapers got her out of the mud one day. But
Mm.
okay. And then we have to connect with Joyce Palmer with JP Financial Group. She is the managing partner and CEO, and she is all about long-term care. She cares about our family.
Yep.
Yeah. So check the podcast out, JP Financial Group, LLC.com. You ladies are a delight. We're going to take the show on the road.
Yes.
Okay.